Last question on the exam paper is the 13-mark question. Really, really easy question again. A bit like the 15-mark question, but this one is exactly like you'd have written since year 7. Any assessment you did since year 7, this is how you would have written them. The question you get will be: explain why relations between the USA and the new Soviet Union grew worse or grew better in the period, and it will give you a date. This question gives you 1945 to 1948. You always get 2 bullet points. You need to provide a third of your own. But first of all, keywords in the question: explain, so you know it's going to be PEE, USA and Soviet Union. It'll always be that, but it's worth noting that it's not just within one country. Grew worse in the period 1945-1948. Fairly straightforward question. The only tough bit with the question is the dates, because you need to know another third bullet point within those dates. So if you haven't revised, you won't be able to answer this question. Gives you 2, which gives you a bit of help. If you know another event that is very close to those, then odds are it's going to be within a time period. But again, without proper revision, you can't be sure. Third bullet point you could have put post-war conferences, could put Soviet takeover of Eastern Europe. Couple of choices, up to you which one you do. I'd always advise you to use the 2 they give you, because you know for sure they're within your time period, and just think of one of your own. The mark scheme is really, really easy. Okay, level 1 is if you're just making small sentences, no evidence of your own, no real information. Level 2, you're doing point and evidence, but you're not doing any explanation. Level 3, doing PEE, paragraphs. And if you're level 4, you're linking or you're prioritizing, which again you've been doing since year 7. So to make it very, very brief, do an introduction, don't have to. If you are doing one, keep it no longer than 2 sentences, 3 paragraphs, and a conclusion. So really you're looking at 4 paragraphs in total. Example on the screen for you is a level 2 answer. It's not PE. Feel free to have a quick read through at the end. Relations also grew worse because of a number of incidents during and after the war. It's not actually talking to you about an explanation, it's just talking about other events now. It's trying to link, but it hasn't done the explanation. Therefore that will only get you level 2. Level 3 answer would actually explain how that leads to relationships going worse. If you want to, you can try and add your own. So if you want to, pause it there. However, if you're talking about the different political beliefs, it's described what they are, it describes what capitalism is, it describes what communism is. The explanation would be this led to relations becoming worse because they both attempted to prove their ideology as the best, and they seek to do so by influencing other states, which leads them into conflict. If you remember, they both try and take over their spheres of influence, and they both try and take over more and more, and that leads them into conflict, which obviously makes the relationship worse. The conclusion: to link or prioritize, you're doing what you've done since year 7. So to get a level 5 in year 7, 8 and 9, you linked, or you said which one was most important. So for this question, if you're linking, you're just saying how the events link together, nice and simple. If you're prioritizing, you're saying which event made the relationships worse. So which out of the 3 that you've talked about was the biggest reason that the relationship got a lot worse. Again, entirely up to you, your own opinion, as long as you say why you think it's that one. Okay, this one, for example, I think the fact that they had different systems and beliefs was the most important reason this person prioritized. They've said which one was the biggest. As a result of this, there was a basic mistrust that had been reinforced by events in the war, so relations were bound to worsen, almost regardless of what happened. Okay, so it's doing that little bit of prioritization. It's quite a weak conclusion, but that is good enough to get you into level 4 if you've done the 3 PE paragraphs. So you get 3 paragraphs with PEE. Some of you might link in the paragraph, or you might leave it to conclusion. Either one is fine. And then make a judgment which event was the biggest in making relationships better or worse, and why.